Hi, welcome to my channel. Today we will unlock the book The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Powerful Lessons in Personal Change. It's mainly about how to become a highly effective person and attain both success and happiness. Many of us have shared an experience of having so many things to do every day and feeling that time is not enough. Despite working all day long and feeling exhausted at the end of the day, we can't seem to get all the work done. However, there are some people around us who barely work overtime, but still do a great job. They can even enjoy some leisure time. Why is that? Are they born with a higher IQ? The truth? This is because some of them have developed good habits of high effectiveness, which leads to a comfortable yet highly effective life. Perhaps you are wondering, what is high effectiveness? High effectiveness refers to the balance between production and production capacity, which is referred as the P/PC balance in this book. P stands for production, and PC stands for production. Capacity. Have you heard of the fable about the goose and the golden egg? A farmer has a goose that can lay golden eggs, and he soon becomes fabulously rich. However, the greedy farmer becomes unsatisfied with only one golden egg per day. So he kills the goose, hoping to take out all of the golden eggs from it. To his surprise, there are no golden eggs inside the goose. The goose is dead, so there's no way he can get another golden egg. The farmer has ruined everything for himself. In the above fable, what is produced is the golden eggs, and production capacity, namely, the producing asset or capacity to produce, is the goose that lays golden eggs. If we focus on golden eggs and neglect the goose, we will lose both the goose and the eggs. Conversely, if we only take care of the goose with no aim toward the golden eggs, we can feed neither ourselves nor the goose. Therefore, only when you take good care of the goose can you get golden eggs. And only when you control your desire to ask too much from the goose can you keep it alive. Likewise, only when you strike a balance between work performance and well-being can you attain real effectiveness and make greater achievements. This book tells us exactly the specific ways that can help you easily achieve high effectiveness. The author of this book, Stephen Covey, was a world-renowned management guru and a well-respected leadership authority. He has a high and long-standing reputation in leadership theories, family and interpersonal relationships, and personal management. Recognized as a master of thoughts of the American academic community, Covey was named one of the 25 most influential people in American history and a mentor of human potential by Time magazine. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Powerful Lessons in Personal Change, is also known as the Bible of the American business community and government. Management Department. It's ranked as one of the 10 most influential management books in history by Forbes. It will teach you 7 good habits. These habits will help you become successful and highly effective with little struggles, achieve personal and interpersonal effectiveness, and make a tremendous change in your life and career. Without further ado, we will unlock the book in the following 3 parts. Part 1, How to Improve Personal Effectiveness and Achieve Private Victory. Part 2, How to Improve Interpersonal Effectiveness and Achieve Public Victory. Part 3, How to Constantly Renew and Improve Ourselves. Let's start with the first part. In order to improve personal effectiveness and achieve private victory, we need to develop 3 habits. Be proactive, begin with the end in mind, and put first things first. The first habit, being proactive, means to choose the way of responding to external material, psychological, and social stimuli according to our values. It means much more than just taking initiatives. Instead, it's an attitude towards life, namely, being responsible for our own lives. Proactive people are aware that our behavior is a function of our decisions, not our conditions. We should have the initiative and the responsibility to make things happen. The behavior of proactive people is a product of their own conscious choice, based on values, rather than a product of the influence of environment, external conditions, and other people. In contrast, reactive people are easily swayed by the environment and other people. According to the author, it takes initiative to create the P/PC balance of effectiveness in our life. Among the 7 habits of highly effective people, the other 6 habits depend on the development of our proactive muscle. If we face the status quo in the future with a positive attitude and create a favorable environment, we can attain better opportunities and development. Covey once worked with a group of people in the home improvement industry. It was during the period of economic recession, and this particular industry was greatly affected. Given the situation, Covey had a meeting with more than 20 organization representatives to discuss how to get out of the plight. At first, everyone was upset and discouraged, but later, they began to take proactive approaches. They analyzed the status quo of the industry, discussed how to improve management, reduce costs, increase market share, and formulated feasible solutions. All participants came out of the meeting excited and confident. What reactive people do? They will think, "Oh, come on. Face facts." You can only carry this positive thinking and self-psych approach so far. Sooner or later, you have to face reality. Covey's argued that businesses, families, and social communities should all have a proactive attitude, create a proactive culture, and accomplish shared purposes and values of the organization. Friends, if you want to read these books but are short of time, then I have brought the key points of this book for you, which is the main point of the entire book. Reading it is equivalent to reading the entire book. If you want to buy, you will find the link in the description box and comment box, and it is only a limited time offer, so hurry up. How can we tell if a person is proactive or not? It's simple. We can pay attention to where this person focuses his or her time and energy. We all have a wide range of concerns, such as our career, family, children, and health. These things form our circle of concern. But within it, there are some things over which we have no real control and others that we can do something about. The concerns in the latter group form a smaller circle called the circle of influence. This includes concerns like mastering a skill and building good interpersonal relationships. Proactive people focus their efforts on the circle of influence. They work on the things they can do something about. In contrast, reactive people focus their efforts in the things outside the circle of influence. They focus on the weakness of other people and things beyond their own individual capacity. They often blame and accuse others, and find excuses for their negative behaviors. How can we be proactive? We should focus on the circle of influence and gradually enlarge the circle. In other words, we need to start from changing the things within our control by improving ourselves first, and from there, start influencing and changing the environment. Having a proactive attitude means trying our best to change something that can be changed. Even for those things that can't be changed, proactive people will not merely blame external factors or give up in despair, but stay optimistic and enterprising. The author took Gandhi's story as an example. Gandhi was criticized by the Indian legislative chambers because he refused to join them to condemn the British Empire for their subjugation of the Indian people. Instead, Gandhi chose to go to the countryside and work with the field laborers through thick and thin. Step by step, he increased his influence, first among poor people, and later won support and trust from people throughout the country, thereby expanded his circle of influence. Through hunger strikes and moral persuasion, he eventually freed Indian people from British colonization. As we can see, being proactive is the starting point toward high effectiveness, which is vital to our life. But apart from that, if we want to achieve private victory, we should also develop the habit of beginning with the end in mind. To begin with the end in mind means to have a clear understanding of our direction and destination before setting out to do anything. It means to take our life goals as the criterion to examine what we say and do. In this way, we can avoid going astray in the pursuit of our goals and feeling regretful afterward. The author pointed out that all things are created twice. Before we start, we first conceive a blueprint in mind. This is the mental or first creation. After we get an idea, we will put it into practice. This is the physical or second creation. For instance, if we want to construct a house, we should first think about the architectural structure and every detail in mind, and make a specific design blueprint. This is the first creation. Next, we can carry out the construction according to the blueprint and build the house. This is the second creation. The second habit of highly effective people, which is to begin with the end in mind, is about the first creation. It applies to many things, from planning our life to starting an enterprise to parenting. We should always set a goal first so that we can keep marching forward and take the initiative to design or rewrite our life script. The same is true with parenting. If we want to raise self-disciplined and responsible children, we should keep this goal in mind on a daily basis, and never do something that undermines the children's self-discipline or self-esteem. Using clear directions and values as the blueprint, we can properly play our role as parents. Then, how can we determine our life goals and directions? Covey suggested that we should be principle-centered, find out our goals and directions. What are principles? Principles are universally applicable truths, such as gravity in the physical dimension. They are natural laws that cannot be ignored. For example, fairness, honesty, and integrity are the principles of civilized society. Principles are the compass that's applicable to every aspect of life. The more a person's way of thinking conforms to these principles, the more effective his or her life will be. How do we begin with the end in mind in practice? Covey suggested writing a personal mission statement. The statement mainly describes what we want to be and to do, so that we can define the direction to which we strive, and make it the basis for life-directing decisions. When writing the mission statement, we can break it down into the specific role areas of our life and the goals we want to accomplish in each area. In terms of career, we may have a role as a manager, a product developer, or a salesman. In terms of family, we may play the role as a husband, a wife, a parent, or a child. The mission statement of a product developer could be to continuously explore new techniques and keep both work and life well organized. For someone who's as a wife and an entrepreneur, her mission statement could be to live in harmony with her spouse, to teach her children to be optimistic and enterprising, and to create a comfortable family environment. Developing a mission statement according to our roles will encourage us to implement the missions while maintaining a balanced life. As we mentioned earlier, all things are created twice. To begin with the end in mind is about the first creation or the mental creation. The third habit of putting first things first is about the second creation, namely, physical creation. It is also the practical fulfillment of habit number 1 and number 2. After we are clear about our life directions and goals, it's time to practice effective self-management. It means to put first things first, start with the most important thing, and master time management. The book introduced a time management matrix that categorizes our daily tasks into 4 quadrants. The first quadrant contains things that are both important and urgent. The second quadrant is for important but not urgent tasks. The third is for urgent but not important tasks. And the last one is for neither important nor urgent tasks. Some people spend 90% of their time on things that are both important and urgent, using most of their time and energy to deal with crises. Others spend most of their time on things that are neither important nor urgent, leading an irresponsible life. Effective people always try to stay out of those unimportant things because, urgent or not, they aren't important. According to famous management master Peter Drucker, effective people are not problem-minded, they are opportunity-minded. There are few crises in their lives that require immediate treatment, because they keep focusing their time and energy on important but not urgent things, such as learning a new skill, building interpersonal relationships, and doing physical exercises. The improvement of their problem-solving ability enables them to do the preventive things that keep situations from developing into crises. Covey told us that in daily planning, we should develop a way of thinking that centers on important things, and spend time and energy primarily on important but not urgent things. Putting first things first helps us do more with less, and get 80% of the results by exerting 20% of the efforts. Then, how can we practice put first things first? It requires us to have the courage to say no to avoid being distracted by secondary issues. Each of us has important things to deal with. We should know how to choose between urgent and important things. Covey gave an example in the book. Once his wife was invited to serve as chairwoman of a community. Although she has a number of other important things to work on, she felt pressured into it and finally agreed. Later, she called a close friend to ask if she could serve on her committee. Her friend thanked her sincerely but turned down her invitation politely. Afterward, Covey's wife told him she wished she had also declined. Of course, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't be involved in public service projects. This example just emphasizes the importance of understanding your most important priority at any moment, and being able to say no to requests or demands from other people politely. That's all for part 1, how to improve personal effectiveness and achieve private victory. First, we should have a proactive attitude in life, changing the things within our control, and gradually enlarge our circle of influence. Next, we need to determine our life directions and goals, begin with the end in mind, and write a mission statement. The last step is to put first things first and spend our time and energy primarily on important but not urgent things. In Covey's view, we should achieve not only private but also public victory. In the process of our growth, the achievement of private victory enables us to shift from dependence to independence, and public victory makes us shift from independence to interdependence. Let us now go through part 2 of this book. To improve interpersonal effectiveness and achieve public victory, we need to develop 3 habits: think win-win, seek first to understand, then to be understood, and synergize. The 4th habit, thinking win-win, is about seeking mutual benefit in all human interactions. Agreements or solutions are mutually beneficial, mutually satisfying. Win-win sees life as a cooperative, not a competitive arena. Given the interdependence nature of modern society, it becomes more necessary than ever for us to achieve a win-win in cooperation. In some companies, although they emphasize cooperation and mutual benefits, they use a flawed paradigm to award employees through performance ranking, which actually encourages competition. As a result, employees only care about their own interests and lack team spirit. The key to achieving a win-win situation is to develop information and reward systems that reinforce the value of cooperation, such as establishing a team award. All teams that accomplish the annual objectives will be rewarded, so that individuals and departments are stimulated to cooperate and achieve outstanding results together. In the book, the author pointed out that the principle of win-win is fundamental to success in all our interactions. It embraces 5 interdependent and interrelated dimensions: character, relationships, agreements, systems, and process. Let's talk about them one by one. The first dimension of character of the win-win principle has 3 basic traits: integrity, maturity, and an abundance mentality. We should take character as the foundation, then build and maintain a win-win relationship. Trust and honesty with each other. After the relationship is established, we should reach agreements that give definition and direction to win-win, and help clarify and manage expectations between people in any interdependent endeavor. Win-win systems mean that in a well-functioning organization, the training system, the planning system, the budgeting system, and the compensation system all have to be based on the principle of win-win. Win-win agreements should be created based on the environment of win-win systems, and win-win solutions can be achieved with win-win processes. These are the 5 dimensions of win-win. Admittedly, sometimes it's really difficult for 2 parties to reach an agreement and achieve a win-win situation. In this case, what should we do? We can part on good terms. If benefits can't be shared, it's better to give up the transaction. Both sides still have room for future collaboration opportunities. Besides thinking win-win, to achieve public victory, it is also necessary to seek first to understand, then to be understood. This is the 5th habit, and it means to understand other people first, and then try to let them understand us. It's the key to effective interpersonal communication, and also an indispensable communication principle of achieving a win-win situation. In interpersonal communication, we usually seek first to be understood. Even when we listen to others, it's not with the intent to understand. We listen with the intent to reply and express our opinions. As a result, it's so common that people fail to understand each other in the course of communication. We're usually listening at different levels. We may be ignoring another person, not listening at all. We may pretend to be listening, using yeah or right to muddle through. We may practice selective listening, hearing only certain parts of the conversation, or we may even practice attentive listening, paying attention and focusing on every word that is being said. But very few of us ever practice the 5th level, the highest form of listening, empathic listening. Empathic listening means listening with the intent to understand. You look through the speaker's frame of reference and see the world the way they do, understand their paradigm and how they feel. In empathic listening, you listen with your ears, with your eyes, and with your heart. You listen for feeling, for meaning. You listen for behavior. You use your right brain as well as your left. You sense, you intuit, you feel. We may not say it out loud, but we all want to be understood, recognized, and appreciated. Empathic listening can meet the psychological need of the other person. Thus, it will help you to make a change and solve problems. Then, how can we listen empathically? In the course of communication, You need to put aside your own evaluation and avoid judging another person's motive. Additionally, you should also avoid probing into others' privacy. When the other person expresses an immature opinion, you should keep yourself from advising, namely, giving counsel based on our own experience. A proper way to respond is to genuinely and deeply understand the other person. You can sense their feelings, you can sense the pain, and you can respond to their confusion and worry. People don't have to open up verbally before you can empathize. Don't push, be patient, be respectful. Whether we are at the workplace or at home, we must learn to listen empathically. Covey said that he and his wife communicated every day, seeking to understand each other. They also role-played different approaches to solve conflicts and frictions that may happen in family life more effectively through practicing empathic listening. In this way, they interact back and forth and try to visualize the situation in a very real way, so that they can train themselves to be consistent in modeling and teaching correct principles to their children. When we manage to deeply understand each other, we open the door to creative solutions. Next, we will introduce the principle of creative cooperation and the sixth habit, synergize. Synergy means that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. We can find examples of synergy everywhere in nature. In the forest, two trees that are standing very close to each other commingle their roots underground and, by doing so, improve the quality of the soil. As a result, both trees grow better when they are together than when they are separated. If you put two pieces of wood together, they can hold more than the sum of the weight held by each separately. In interpersonal communication, the essence of synergy is to identify and value the differences of opinions and requests, which means to respect them, to build on strengths, and to compensate for weaknesses. When we interact synergistically, we can achieve the effect that 1 + 1 equals something much bigger than 2, and find a third alternative as the solution. The author gave an example. A husband wants to take his family to go camping and fishing during the holiday. His two sons are very excited, but his wife wants to use the holiday to visit her mother. At first, they disagree with each other. The husband thinks that the vacation is a rare chance, and they just visited his mother-in-law last month. Besides, his sister-in-law lives closer and can take care of the mother. However, the wife argues that she doesn't even know how long her mother will be living, and she wants to be with her mother. Now, if both of them keep arguing, no matter who compromises, there will always be some kind of regret in the end. Moreover, they will blame each other and feel unhappy, which can even turn into a pitfall that triggers future quarrels. In the end, the couple comes up with a third alternative to solve the problem. They decide to go fishing in a place close to where the mother lives, so that they can visit her while still having fun. The couple is open to each other in communication based on the principle of win-win. They listen empathically to fully understand the other, synergize to find a solution they both feel satisfied with, and build their relationship in the process. In interpersonal communication, synergy means to open up and accept different opinions, but also be brave and frank enough to express your ideas and provide suggestions. At the same time, you can encourage other people to be open to you. When there's a disagreement, you can try to find a third alternative that leads to mutual benefits. If you stick to a win-win philosophy and try to fully understand others, you can find a good solution that benefits everyone concerned. That's all for part 2, how to improve interpersonal effectiveness and achieve public victory. Firstly, we need to think win-win and seek mutual benefits in cooperation. Secondly, we should seek first to understand, then to be understood. To achieve it, we can try to understand others through empathic listening. Finally, we should synergize, meaning to value differences, build on strengths, and compensate for weaknesses in order to achieve a greater impact. Next, we will explain the third part of this book, how to constantly renew and improve ourselves. The most valuable investment in this world is to invest in ourselves. Only by making constant self-improvement, developing good learning and thinking abilities and creativity, can we secure our success in social competition. Here comes the 7th habit of highly effective people, that is, constant renewal. This habit can reinforce the other 6. Next, we will learn how we can continuously renew ourselves and increase personal production capacity in 4 dimensions: physical, spiritual, mental, and social/emotional. The first is renewal in the physical dimension. Physical health is of foremost significance. It is a premise of business success and domestic felicity. We should take good care of our physical body by eating the right kinds of foods, getting sufficient rest and relaxation, and exercising on a regular basis. Exercise is one of those important, but not urgent things that most of us don't do consistently because it isn't urgent. Only when we have health problems, we will regret not working out regularly. Other people say they are so busy and have no time to exercise. Actually, if we just exercise for at least 30 minutes a day, it will bring tremendous benefits to our body. You don't have to exercise in a gym. You can choose to work out at home or a nearby park, doing cross-training of aerobic exercises, strength, and stretching. Aerobic exercises like running, rapid walking, biking, and swimming can improve the cardiopulmonary function and prevent cardiovascular diseases. Strength training such as sit-ups, push-ups, and weightlifting can strengthen your muscles, protect joints, and slow down aging. Before and after the aerobic exercises, you can do some stretching for your legs and chest to improve your body's flexibility and prevent injury in sports. Regular exercise not only helps promote your physical health but also free you from fatigue, allowing you to devote yourself to any work with full energy. The second is renewal in the spiritual dimension. It's the source of strength that provides guidance to your life. Some people immerse themselves in great literature and music to realize the renewal of the spirit. Covey said that he found renewal in daily reading and meditating on the scriptures because they represent his value system. As he read and meditated, he felt renewed, strengthened, centered, and committed to serve with full confidence. Some others choose to leave the noise of the city and relax by embracing the nature. They give themselves up to the rhythm of nature and experience their inner peace. After enjoying the harmony and coming back to the city, they feel renewed. For a time they become centered and unflappable until the noise from outside break their inner peace again. Moreover, renewal in the spiritual dimension can provide us with endless strength. The great reformer Martin Luther spent 1 hour praying every day. To him, prayer was not a mechanical duty but rather a way to gain spiritual strength. The third renewal is in the mental dimension. It mainly depends on education, which means to keep learning and broadening our horizons. In addition to formal education, it also relies on our proactivity of self-learning. Many people barely spend time reading and writing after graduating from school. Instead, they spend time watching television and surfing the internet. Although TV and the internet enrich our lives, many programs of low quality and value are a total waste of our time. We can hardly improve ourselves if we spend too much time on these things. Reading quality literature on a regular basis can broaden our cultural knowledge, expand our paradigms, and sharpen our mental saw. Covey suggested that we start with a goal of a book a month, and then try to read a book every 2 weeks to develop the habit of regular reading. Besides reading, writing is another effective way to sharpen the mental saw. Writing down our thoughts, feelings, experiences, and insights will improve our ability to think clearly, to reason accurately, and to be understood effectively. Renewal in the physical, spiritual, and mental dimensions belongs to the category of important but not urgent things. Covey recommended that we spend at least 1 hour every day on the renewal in these 3 dimensions. Practicing renewal persistently will help us carry out self-management and achieve private victory. The fourth renewal lies in the social and emotional dimension. It does not take time in the same sense that renewing the other dimensions does. We can do it in our everyday interactions with other people. Suppose that you need to communicate and work together with others to complete a project, but there are different opinions. What should you do at this point? You can apply the win-win principle and suggest that both sides communicate and find a solution that everyone feels good about. Then you can listen empathically. You first try to understand others and probe deeply into their thoughts, and then express your point of view so that you can also be understood. When both sides have a thorough understanding of each other's opinions, you can work together to find a third alternative as the solution and finally reach a consensus. We need to practice the above method repeatedly in our daily communication. It can develop and enhance the 3 habits. Win-win: seek first to understand, then to be understood, and synergize. As a result, it will lead to creative cooperation and public victory. Each of the 4 dimensions of renewal is very important. They are highly interrelated. Your physical health affects your mental health, your spiritual strength affects your social/emotional strength. They can only become optimally effective if we deal with all 4 dimensions in a wise and balanced way. Alright. That's all for today's book. Let's have a brief review. We started with how to improve personal effectiveness and achieve private victory. In short, we should be proactive, start to change the things within our control, and gradually enlarge our circle of influence. What's more, we need to begin with the end in mind, determine our life goals, and avoid going astray. Additionally, we should put first things first and spend our time and energy primarily on important things instead of urgent ones. Then, we talked about how to improve interpersonal effectiveness and achieve public victory. To reach this goal, we need to think win-win and try to come up with a win-win solution in cooperation. Besides, we should seek first to understand, then to be understood. Empathic listening helps us communicate and understand others better. Moreover, we should synergize. Based on our respect for differences, we can build on strengths and compensate for weaknesses to achieve a greater impact. Finally, we introduce the 4 dimensions in which we should constantly renew and improve ourselves, namely, the physical, spiritual, mental, and social/emotional dimensions. Only by dealing with all 4 dimensions shall we continue to make progress, become remarkable and highly effective. Facing such an ever-changing world, we need some principles that remain unchanged. Many people may wonder, will the 7 habits of highly effective people still be relevant after 10, 20, or even 100 years? In response, Covey said, the greater the change and more difficult our challenges, the more relevant the habits become. The reason is that our problems and pain are universal and increasing, and the solutions to the problems are and always will be based upon universal, timeless, self-evident principles, including the 7 habits. These habits are not invented by Covey, but have long been rooted in our history and civilization. What Covey did was simply to identify and organize them into a sequential framework. He also believed, as time goes by, the 7 habits are more applicable to the present society than ever before. Admittedly, although the 7 habits seem simple, it's not easy to stick to them. We should always remind ourselves, put them into practice from time to time, and even make a lifetime commitment. But if you really bear them in mind, you will definitely find a brand new self in a brand new world. Every day, you will feel inspired and fully motivated, and really become a highly effective person.